Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to episode 46 of the Shadow Code podcast. And we got a hell of a show lined up for you, ladies and gents. Of course, as always, it's myself, James, and the Scott. Walter will be in here, but he will be late like last week. But we are joined by two special guests. Please welcome back Ricky, aka Horrormaster from the Horseman podcast. And
hello.
And first-time guest on the show, good friend of mine for almost a decade, Kronicz from the Most Extreme Wrestling.
What's up, people?
Welcome aboard, man.
So, yeah, we are talking, we are in the penultimate episode of WrestleMania season, as next week on a special Sunday afternoon episode, we will be talking WrestleMania 37 Night 1 and predictions for Night 2, but before we get there tonight, we are talking arguably the greatest WrestleMania of all time, debatable amongst people, but still one of the greatest of all time, WrestleMania 17. And wowee, was this show a hell of a doozy to go back and watch.
Mm-hmm.
And when you guys hear these numbers, you're going to be thinking, holy fuck. So, to kick things off, WrestleMania 17 took place from the Reliant Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Houston, we have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, NASA shirt.
Nice.
I bet you went for irony when you put on that shirt just for tonight.
Actually, I just put it on. I was like, oh, wait. WrestleMania 17 Houston. It fits!
Well, there you go. And they Scott rocking Motorhead, which
I'm wearing this one for a reason too.
We'll talk about them when we get there. But
I'm surprised no one has Limp Bizkit, but I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
Seriously?
Not anymore. But maybe back in the day.
Run in. We got to run in.
Never mind that shit. Here comes Walter.
Hey, it's Walter. Hey, it's Walter.
The real Walter, not the imposter from fucking Austria.
Big frickin' Mark.
Loading.
Keep loading. What?
Oh boy.
Just one.
Yeah, this show already has enough Limp Bizkit all over it.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's enough. Yeah, we're
I
done.
know, right?
You think you're special?
I did try to find the WrestleMania 17 jersey on eBay for this podcast, but it was several $100s, and I said,
No
no.
need.
No.
That's a collector's item.
No.
No.
I wanted it so bad.
I'm pretty sure Cornette has it somewhere in his Castle Cornette.
Probably. Like that clump
True.
of Shawn
You
Michaels
saw that
hair.
Jersey all over the Go Home Raw.
Yes, you did. Alright, so as far as numbers for WrestleMania 17, so attendance, a sellout 67,925 with 62,885 paid. Live gate of $3,530,905. Merchandise sales of $1,111,343. Why couldn't the last three numbers been ones and it'd be the perfect irony? And then pay-per-view buys, 1,040,000. So up to this point, the most bought WrestleMania of all time. Numbers compared to Mania 16 blow Mania 16's numbers out of the water, and all numbers were the highest in 2001 in terms of pay-per-views. So one of the best business-wise WrestleManias of all time, and eventually starting in 2007 with 23, it would just only get bigger and bigger as far as attendance and all this and that and blah blah blah. But Scott, enough of the numbers. What food do we have en masse? Spoiler alert: we got a lot. Maybe
I mean,
is this the most we've ever
might
had?
very well be the most food we've ever done on this show. It's great.
He's got a list.
I mean, take a look, folks. I mean, look at all the. This is all the food right here. So, for WrestleMania 17 out of Houston, Texas, we have on the show, we have Freddie Blassie doing an opening montage promo. We have Limp Bizkit. Yeah. And for the first time in a long time at WrestleMania, no Jerry Lawler commentary.
Yay!
We also have
Hallelujah.
WWE New York. Remember, it's 2001.
Mhm.
We get one trapped test.
Oh yeah.
We have an annoying entrance noise we hear twice. We have WCW in a box. We have Linda in a chair. We have a cat fight. We have Lita's thong. You're welcome, Arthur, in the chat. We have table annihilation going on. We have gimmicks galore. We also have Motorhead. We have ref bumping, low blowing, mud hole stopping, and blood. For the moves, we have one butterfly suplex, one lion salt, one back superplex, one double power bomb, one clothesline from hell, one tilt-a-whirl power bomb, one moss-covered three-handle family credenza, two German suplexes, one ankle lock, three cross faces, one angle slam, one top rope headbutt, one coast-to-coast drop kick, one Dudleyville device, one 3D, one gigantic swanton off the ladder through tables, one cobra clutch, one choke slam off a camera platform, one tombstone, one last ride, two superplexes, one shit shooter, one sharpshooter, make that two sharpshooters, $1 million dream, two stunners, one people's elbow, and two rock bottoms. And for the foo, we have turnbuckle foo, sign foo, wall foo, pallet foo, hose foo, fence foo, window foo, door foo, table foo, golf cart foo, and we'll get to that later on. Snapple foo, whiteboard foo, stage foo, belt foo, stair foo, ladder foo, chair foo, cane foo, garbage can foo, sledgehammer foo, bell foo, post foo, monitor foo, and wife foo.
Holy mother of God.
Man.
And Double Z TV
Holy,
just
I'm done.
commented. And Double Z TV just commented saying a bad sharpshooter is a sharpshooter. That's pretty good.
I like that. Sharpshooter, you got it, man.
And you know what, Zach? Just for that, damn it, I can't do it on Streamlabs. I'll have to do it after the show. I was going to make you a permanent moderator of the Twitch channel just for that comment, but I can't do it on Streamlabs right now.
Would that bad
Easily
sharpshooter-
impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Would that bad sharpshooter belong to the most electrifying man in sports entertainment?
Yep.
Because as much as we love The Rock, it's a known fact his sharpshooter looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And even Bret Hart himself said, I have a lot of respect for The Rock, but I'd be more than happy to teach him how to apply the sharpshooter on properly. Ow.
Later in life, Sting sharpshooter started looking bad too towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Barely applied it.
Yeah.
Well, it's the knees. He can't keep himself in a
bend.
position to make it look
Right.
not his fault.
Gotta make it look good, kid.
But anyways, now let's talk about the matches. We got 11 matches en masse for this show, and we kick things off with the first of 6 championship matches. And for this episode, we're going round horn, one at a time, so that's not so unwieldy and crazy, since we got 6 people here. But we kick things off with the Intercontinental Championship match, Chris Jericho defending against William Regal. I'm going to let Walter begin on this one.
Fair opening match, just a good, not a barn burner. They don't tear the house down, but it's Regal's old school, Jericho's old school. They know exactly what to do. This isn't like AEW and modern wrestling or whatever, where they got to do they got to do a barn burner that Meltzer's going to give 800 stars for immediately for and tell backstage follow that. Good basic opener, just enough to warm the crowd up, and that's always a good recipe for a good card.
For me, I also like how in the middle of Regal's entrance we get a nice little short promo package leading into this match, including the famous moment of Jericho taking a piss in his tea.
Great facial reaction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like people look back on that. I always see people nowadays look back on that like people are like, why'd they do that to Regal? I'd say fine with it because he was on TV all the time, so he was always doing something. It's not like Damian Sandow whenever he had to do the worst gimmick of all time and impersonate everything and sell Sonic Chicken where he wasn't even getting anything on TV anymore until he became the stunt double.
That was a great gimmick. Great gimmick. Got him a lot of time on TV.
Until he
That's
became the
what's
Miz's stunt double, then it worked. But before that, it was like, really? But
Yeah.
besides that, so I thought, yeah, this was a pretty solid opening match between these two, and the crowd's into it throughout much of this match, which was the impressive thing. James.
Solid opening match. Probably could have gotten a few more minutes, but it was what it was.
Scott.
Yeah, it looks like it took it home early. It looked like Jericho was really hurt his shoulder there. Just going over the lion salt was kind of out of nowhere. But yeah, let this again. It's all about that opening match, getting the crowd into it, and these guys know exactly what to do, and they did it.
Ricky.
Like Bruce Dickinson said, they're warming the audience.
Yeah. Ricky?
Great opening match. I mean, you have Jericho, a high flyer, William Regal, a technician, kind of mixed. I mean, both are almost trending in the same, but again, a way to bring the crowd together to start WrestleMania. Perfect match. Even though I wish it could have lasted a bit longer, maybe a couple, like maybe 2 more minutes. But I liked Regal because he focused on Jericho's arm, trying to beat his arm and all that. And you know, Regal, when he sees an opportunity, he takes it. But again, one of the reasons why I always say Regal should have been a world champion a long time ago. Shut up, Duck.
I know, the Duck likes to interrupt at the most inopportune moments. Kronicz.
Yeah, so this was a nice opening match. You got Regal, who was a commissioner, so for him to have a WrestleMania match, that was cool to see him get in there and mix it up. The thing that I say people complain about most on this match is the one that Jericho missed that over the top rope, and then on the finish, he came in for the bulldog, but Regal was too close to the rope, so he had to just awkwardly suplex him and then finish the match. So it was kind of like a weird end. But other than that, I love this match. I thought it was a great way to open WrestleMania 17.
And in the end, as Jericho did the lion salt, which kind of came out of nowhere, but Jericho defeated William Regal to retain the Intercontinental Championship in 7 minutes, 8 seconds. After that, we get a 6-man tag team match. Right to Censor members Bull Buchanan, The Good Father, Val Venus with Steven Richards versus the team of Taz and the APA with Jacqueline. Of course, this was originally meant to be this whole thing with the cat and Right to Censor and all this stuff, but then when Stacey Carter left the company and then Jerry Lawler and Protest left with her, kind of messed this whole thing up to the point where they had to implement Taz into the whole thing and the APA into it, and it just felt off. And this match itself, I mean, it wasn't bad, it was just there. It was really just there. And plus, it was less than 4 minutes, so it just... whatever. James?
Could have done without this match. Really could have just taken this off the card.
Scott?
Yeah, I mean, the match itself is blah, like you said, but the freaking promo that Bradshaw cuts before the match when they're in their office there, I think that was one of the best freaking Bradshaw promos up till that point. He just started rambling off all the stuff about the Astrodome and all the fun he used to have there, so that was more entertaining to me than this match was. Yeah, it was a throwaway match. It wasn't bad, it was just meh.
Ricky?
The match was just there, just to... I mean, honestly, this match, I could have been fine without that match, but of course they're going to give the match to Bradshaw and Jacqueline being the 2 Texans. They're in Texas, they were going to give the match. Which, by the way, I want to say this right now. If you notice, every single Texan in this WrestleMania won their matches.
Yep.
Believe it or not.
Valid point, man.
Yeah.
What a concept, going over in your hometown.
Exactly. Exactly. Kronicz.
Yeah, this is one of those matches that started out probably could have been cut, but I suppose they were already so far into it, they said, screw it, we're going to put it on there. Yeah, the Bradshaw promo, I loved. I think that helped him, move forward into a main eventer. I mean, that really showed that he could really show his chops, but throw some people from Texas in there, got Jackie, she's from Texas, so man, it was what it was, essentially. Bull Buchanan got a WrestleMania match. So there you go.
I just wish Jack. I just
WrestleMania
wish,
match. He wrestled in 2000.
That's right. In
Yeah,
2000,
he was
yeah,
in the
WrestleMania
opener.
2000.
Oh,
16.
true.
Yep, opening tag match. Yeah.
One lucky dude.
I just wish Jackie could have been a bit more involved in the match, just a bit, because she was just
There.
there.
Yeah.
Was this
Yeah.
Bull Buchanan's like third character? Truth Commission,
Yeah.
Boss Man's Boy, and then Right to
Yep.
Censor. And then when
Yeah.
wasn't he John Cena's backup too
Be
later on?
There,
Yeah.
there would be
Me
more
too,
to
yeah.
come.
Oh,
Yeah.
Be square.
B squared, thank you. I knew it was something like that.
I'm going to give my 2 cents on this match. I don't think it was sure it was short. It really wasn't all that great, but I wouldn't call it a throwaway match simply because of the crowd heat from the Right to Censor. They did their job. They got all right. They had a good moment with Jericho. Right to Censor comes in and immediately pisses the crowd off. And it was just a quick little match to get the crowd, hopping and running again to go to the next match.
And in the end, Taz and the APA defeated Right to Censor in 3 minutes 52 seconds.
I think Taz got hurt in this match too.
Yeah, because you notice there were a couple of moments in this match where he was losing his balance quite a bit. Like with that one
True.
Irish whip from Goodfather into the corner, it's like he awkwardly hit front first and then turned around. It was...
Yeah, I think he was knocked silly outside.
Yeah, there's one spot he hits the ropes at one point, and it's really awkward. He like throws himself into that, not very protective. So, yeah.
But moving right along to the next match and the second championship match of the night, a triple threat hardcore match for the hardcore championship. Champion Raven versus challengers Big Show and Kane. James, I'll let you start with this one.
Hardcore title match in the history of the company. Really fun match here. I do wish they would have brought Pete Rose in just to have the novelty of him for the 4th straight year and have him win the hardcore title for like 20 seconds. It's like the big blow off to the whole him and Kane feud.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Scott?
Yeah, this match is, I think it's an infamous match, not just for what happens during the match as far as wrestling is concerned, but what happens during the match as far as what it almost did to the show, because there's that spot at in the back where Raven gets in the golf cart and the Big Show's right behind him, and when Raven takes off, they fall into this little gutter part there backstage, and there's one huge wire there, this huge cable that was the main feed for the pay-per-view. If they had hit that thing like another inch, they would have cut the cable and the whole pay-per-view would have gone off the air. It was that close to being that screwed up. So, yeah, I remember the match more for that factor than essentially what the match does. But it's hardcore. What are you going to do? Poor Raven, poor Scotty at the time. Vince didn't want him there, and it was obvious he didn't want him there. So
Who the hell hired Raven?
Who the fuck hired Raven? Yeah, and Big Show, we see
Who
what
who brought Johnny Polo back?
Right. And I totally forgot about this match, as part of that show. It's like, oh yeah, this happened there, and like, and now 20 years later, Kane's going in the Hall of Fame. Amazing.
All right, Ricky.
It was a fun match. I mean, I like Raven's entrance when he comes out with the with the card and all of the items, and then Kane just arrives and they start beating each other. They don't even get time for the Big Show to make his entrance, so he's just running there to the arena. Kane throws poor Raven to freaking Big Show. It's like nothing. And then they go backstage, and my God, one of the most scariest things is when it was a Big Show Kane that throws Raven through the glass.
Kane.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I must have hurt like a motherfucker. But it was a fun match. Great match. Well, not great. It was good.
Kronicz.
Yeah, this was a really fun match for me. It's wild to me how much setup they had for this match. They had the fake janitor area with the caged in, and the fake locker room that they were tearing through the walls. I would really be interested to see what their original plan for the golf carts were, because they said they were going to drive them around the arena, but were they going to drive them all the way around the arena?
You're going to
that would have been fun. That would have been fun.
But regardless, that failed. But still an entertaining match, and really odd to see Kane end a match with a leg drop. So
That's
Kane
true.
winning the hardcore championship.
That's true. I forgot he won a leg drop from a leg drop. I thought a
From
chokeslam,
the
maybe.
top,
On the stage.
yeah, from the top, yeah, from the top of the stage too. I mean, my goodness.
Walter.
Guys, this match was total shit. I don't psychology, all bad spots. Nah, I'm kidding. It was all right. It was actually, in my opinion, it was the greatest match of all time.
Thank you, Raven.
I'm just
it was all right. Yeah, you know, I mean, it didn't suck. You know, we had our spots, we had our fun. It was a WrestleMania moment.
But you know, in an alternative universe, that wire did
Oh God.
in some universe out there. And I'm just imagining who would have gotten fired.
Well, at
Buddy.
least Raven.
It would have
Yeah.
been Kane. Kane was red hot.
It would have
at
been the
time.
excuse Vince would have wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah.
You dumb shit,
Like
ruin a show.
Who the
fuck-
fuck?
like a bad-
Fuck hired fat Johnny
I wonder
Polo.
if, like, whenever a bad spot was coming up that would set Vince off and ruin the whole night. I wonder if Pritchard would like temporarily distract him so he doesn't look at the monitor. Hey,
Yeah.
Bruce, there's something, or hey, Vince, there's something on your shoe, pal. Oh, what? Huh?
What?
Oh,
Okay,
no,
go
I
ahead.
think it's gone.
Just whip his dick out real quick. Hey, look, pal.
It's so vascular.
Oh, you got me again.
You
And what the hell
bitch,
did you
go.
do?
Why is there so many veins on it?
It's looking pretty
So
bad.
veiny and vascular.
God damn! That penis is all shriveled up like a goddamn cheese stick. Oh my god!
What's that green spot on there?
It's Doink's makeup. Mm.
Oh. All right, well, for me, I
Bullshit, they're making you doink, Jericho.
thought,
Trying to bury him. I'll shut up.
Oh god. I thought this was a really fucking good match between these two. It was entertaining as hell.
Three.
And what?
Said two.
Yep, you fit too.
Oh, between these three. I don't know. The fucking penis talk messed my brain up.
It always messes me up.
I know it does.
Zev,
My-
Zev,
my
Is that what it
gears-
does?
My gears stopped working for a second, but
Hey, Sean, how you
anyways.
doing tonight, man?
But anyway, so yeah, of course that golf cart near disaster. Yeah, looking back on that and understanding what had happened with how it almost cut the feed, you're like, ooh, thank God that didn't happen. Otherwise, oh shit. But yeah, and then the finish with Big Show holding Raven up, and then Kane with the boot, and they both just flop off the set, and then Kane with the elbow. 1, 2, 3. Kane becomes the new hardcore champion as he defeats Raven and Big Show in 9 minutes 17 seconds. Moving right along to the fourth match of the night and the third championship match for the European Championship. Champion Test versus challenger Eddie Guerrero with Perry Saturn. Scott, let you begin.
Well, it's a contrast in styles in this one. Test is still in the testing stages, if you will. They're giving him the European title, trying to give him some kind of push, put him in the ring with Eddie, who can work with anybody. And this is really to get Eddie over and establish the Radical still as a strong faction, as it's pretty much becomes a 3-on-1 handicap match for Test. The big funny spot in the match is Test gets his ankle trapped, and of all things, Eddie has to help him get out of the ropes to free him up. It's not like Perry could have done anything, right? Jeez, come on, Perry. I won't do my Perry Saturn impression. It'll just take too long. But, I mean, it was a good match. Got heat on Eddie. Got Dean in there. Got Perry in there. Got some sympathy on Test. Eddie wins with the belt shot. So, hey, it gets the job done. So, good on Test. He hung in there, does some good work, but it's all about showcasing Eddie. And what a freaking, it just pretty much set Eddie up to go on to greatness later on, a few years later.
Yeah. Ricky.
It was an okay match. I mean, of course, you have Eddie Guerrero, one of the most Mexican style wrestling styles. Test, you know. I mean, it was an okay match. I mean, the addition of Dean Malenko interfering at the very end, I was like, I mean, you already had Perry Saturn there. I'm like, okay. I was okay with it, but overall, it was a good match. But it didn't help to his career, to be honest.
Kronicz.
And at the time, I think Tiss was Tiss. Yeah, Tiss was the babyface. Eddie was the heel,
Yeah.
Eddie was the heel. Yep.
which didn't make sense at all because Tiss was always great at being the heel, and Eddie being the babyface. I'm like, something doesn't match here. To switch the wires. Hello, Vince.
Kronicz.
For Test, woo. It's a good thing he was in the ring with Eddie Guerrero, is all I can say. But yeah, he got hung up on the ropes, did Test, which has to totally suck. The referee was trying everything he could to free him, but that wasn't going to help. But did make a good point. Why did Perry Saturn not get involved? I don't know. He was a little bit clueless around those times, but we got to see Eddie Guerrero lie, cheat, and steal to win the match, well, multiple times with the assistance of that three-handled Grununzel, right? And the European Championship from Dean Malenko. So awesome to see Eddie Guerrero ascend up in the roster here in WWE.
Even though, yeah, it's weird he'd be gone from the company like a couple months later and then come back.
True.
About 10,
Well,
11
that was
months
more
after the fact.
personal issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Walter? Never mind that shit. Let's hear from Walter.
Probably one of the better test matches in the duration of his career. I liked the match. It was simple and basic, but he had a good guy to carry him and make sure everything looked good, except for hanging and dangling off the ropes. But we already pressed that issue there. Like I said, good solid match.
For me, yeah, I thought it was a good match between these two. Honestly, I feel like Test is, for me, a very underrated performer. Like I talked about at length about Test when we talked Survivor Series 99 and how I felt he should have gotten that replacement spot for Austin instead of Big Show because that would have made some fucking sense. But yeah, you could tell they were trying to get Test higher up on the card at this point because yeah, this is shortly after Test and Albert split, and Albert went on to form X Factor with Justin Credible and X-Pac. But yeah, a good match between these two, and yeah, like I said, it is weird how not too long after this show, Eddie would be gone for almost a year and then come back, and then when he'd come back the next year, you could argue then that he was bound to be a main event guy whenever he came back. I mean, hell, they brought him back in the beginning so he could have a feud with Austin, and sadly, nothing came out of it except for one segment.
Yeah, and it's funny enough, both of them died very young of overdoses.
Yeah, Eddie and Test.
Yeah, Eddie and Test, yeah.
Yeah. James.
I thought it was a solid overall European title match. I do like how they made sense of Eddie helping get Test out of the rope. It's like the only way he can win is by pinning him, so he has to get him out of the ropes. Hit that little part to cover up a fuck up, but other than that, it's a solid overall match. Nothing terrible, but nothing amazing.
As in the end, Eddie Guerrero defeated Test in 8 minutes 30 seconds to become the new European champion. Following that, we got match number 5. It's Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, and it's interesting. Before we get into everybody's thoughts, yeah, it's interesting looking back in the build-up to Mania. Like after Kurt dropped the belt back to The Rock at No Way Out, it's like, well, what was Kurt gonna do at Mania? Because for a while, it didn't seem like he was gonna be on the card. And then another guy that they saw that was on the card, and it's like. So yeah, this was like one of the 2 matches that was like a huge oversight on WWE's part of 4 guys that did not have matches for the show until they decide, you know what? How about we put them all together in 2 separate matches? We'll talk about that other one later, and it's interesting how there was really nothing to set this up until the go home to WrestleMania where Kurt and Benoit get at each other and Benoit makes Angle tap to the crossface. And I love how before the match you get that segment where Kurt's just constantly rewinding the moment as Edge and Christian comes in and Kurt's just so focused. Is it even official? If it wasn't even an official match that made me tap out? But Kurt, we all saw, is it official? No. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you later, Kurt.
But, Ricky, I'll let you start on this one.
So I like the way that the match starts. It just starts as a traditional amateur wrestling match. You have your
To a
traditional
chorus of
grab.
cheers.
And I like the way that they do the grabs. Wait a couple of seconds for the crowd to get in. Do it again. Let the crowd do it again. Do it again. The crowd is into the match until there was a point in the match that Kurt was like, fuck it, I'm going to fight dirty. Starts beating the crap out of Benoit. And this is where things get a little bit crazier. I mean, this is why I've always liked Benoit and Kurt Angle, because they're both technicians. They're both beasts. And my God, this was a great match. Not compared to the 2003 match at the Rumble, which that was a bit better match.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a great match because, again, Benoit, more of a Japanese style wrestler, and Kurt Angle, a more American style. And they both just, it's kind of like they did some sort of magic there. But again, they gave the finish to Kurt, which, I understand at the booking time it was the right choice, but they could have just gave Benoit the win. But later on, Benoit will have his WrestleMania moment.
Kronicz.
Yeah, this was a great match to throw in here. With the hardcore matches, we've had some different style matches, but for these guys to just get down and dirty and just have a straight up wrestling match, it was solid. By today's standards, by 2001 standards, it was great stuff. Kurt Angle coming to the ring and calling the people of Houston a bunch of Texas yeehaws. They didn't appreciate that, but Kurt could always get the crowd upset, and it always went into his matches. And yeah, this is a good match.
And to this day, every time I hear Kurt Angle's theme song, I cannot say "you suck." Like, I still say it. This is during the time. I'm watching this at home, and
this
I'm
was
saying,
before that started.
Suck.
Yeah.
Officially, yeah.
I know this was before, and I'm like,
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right without the "you suck."
And on the entrance, when Kurt Angle comes out for WrestleMania 17, they have like the stars that go boo doo. So it's just perfect. Like, you could just say "you suck."
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But nobody's chanting it yet. But we all at home, we are all chanting it full volume.
Us hardcore fans were like, "You suck, you suck,"
in the most respectable way possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walter.
Great match between the two, as expected. I'm with Ricky though. The Royal Rumble 2003 match surpassed it. But this is a lot better than the match they had with Jericho the year prior, though. Good, solid match. And it's also basically what you expected from the two of them as well. And with their styles, you kind of saw this coming. We're going to see a lot of suplexes, a lot of hard hitting, a lot of technical aspects. Almost in a way a New Japan style match. Not completely though, but you see the elements in there. You see Benoit, and that's where you see Angle. Angle is still really good, but he's still not. He hasn't even peaked yet at this point. So hence why the 2003 match was so good, because Angle was already good at this point, and he was just getting better and better at this time. As he went on.
Yeah, for a match that had less than a week of story and build, this was an amazing match between these two. And I love how, like Ricky pointed out, you start off the match with them doing amateur wrestling stuff to a bunch of cheers, because it's like, do more of that.
Wrestling!
Actual wrestling between two of the best. And then Kurt goes, and then
Wrestling! What is this shit? Get it off my TV, damn it!
Why do you want to?
We're entertainment.
I don't get why you want to have wrestling.
But then,
we want sports entertainment.
But then, like Ricky said, at one point Kurt starts brawling with Chris, and then they just start beating the shit out of each other. And to me, this was like the best of both worlds of brawling and technique. between these two, and little did we know this would start an on and off nearly 2-year program between these two. Well, the primary program for this year started here, and it would culminate in that. The only other match I could have compete with the match at Rumble 03 was the cage match on Raw a couple months later, where Kurt did that classic moonsault to a miss. But yeah, because after this, he had the Ultimate Submission match at Backlash, and then the 2 out of 3 falls at Judgment Day for Angle's gold medal. But yeah, this was the beginning of one of the best on and off feuds in the company during this time period. Nothing more, nothing less for me to say. James?
This was a great match between these two, and I understand why they had Angle go over the way he went over, because this was the beginning of a longer feud. So you only had 6 days to build for this match. You're going to have many matches after this. So have Angle go over in the way he did and build from there.
Scott?
When you have strong characters, you don't need a build. So the fact that it was 4, 5, 6 days, whatever it was, it didn't matter. With these two guys, they were well established. Everybody knew what they were going to get from these two guys. They delivered, and you wanted more. And that goes right into what James was saying, to have that finish where Kurt goes up, cheap. Okay, we're not done with this yet. You're going to get more of it. You're going to see more. You get a little taste of it here and there. Another point, too, is this is match 5 on the show, and every single match has been different. There's been a different flavor and a different style in pretty much every match so far. This one was the wrestling match of the show, and totally delivered. I love this match. It's just great to see those guys sparring at the beginning, and you give a little bit. Okay, grab the head. Okay, now I'm going to get your arm. Okay, now I'm going to get your leg, and just feel each other and just keep going. Do the breaks, get back in, do the breaks. All right, screw this shit. Bang, now we're into it. And they go on for the whole fight from there. So absolutely.
You know what made that match perfect was Jim Ross was 1989 NWA era Jim Ross.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Really great.
It was like Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat style Jim Ross commentary. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, back when he was a little more detailed in his commentary, rather than having to feed off a king and go, oh God,
yeah. Just doing sound bites.
Yeah.
And also,
now he doesn't give a shit. Now he doesn't give a shit. He just says what he wants.
But and also another point I wanted to bring up. Yeah, I feel like it was a good decision to have Kurt go over, because he just dropped the WWF title to Rock. You needed him to get something after that. So it was almost like, Kurt, since you did good being a transitional champion, we'll give you a consolation reward and then give you a win at WrestleMania. But yeah, in the end, with the use of the tights, Kurt Angle defeats Chris Benoit in 14 minutes 4 seconds. And then afterwards, Kurt goes backstage to be interviewed by Michael Cole, saying, when you're the best in the company, you don't need to respect anybody. And then Benoit comes in, they just keep beating the crap out of each other, building up for more to come. But moving on to match number 6, so now we're in the middle portion of the show. And we're at the 4th of 6 championship matches for the WWF Women's Championship, with Right to Censor banned from ringside. Champion Ivory defending against Chyna. Of course, we talked about this at length when talking about Royal Rumble 2001 when that match happened, and how we just... the whole angle with Chyna's neck, and how it's so Austin's out for almost a year with a neck injury. You're trying to say Chyna has a neck injury and she's back in a month?
That's why she should get paid as much as Stone Cold.
Don't treat her like a woman.
Yeah.
Don't treat her like a man.
Just
don't treat her like an army.
But it's...
Treat her for what I am.
It's how it is. But Kronicz?
Well, it was short. This entire match was 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
Yep.
Chyna came out with a much different look. She was wearing purple. It was shiny. She kind of pranced to the ring. She had the makeup and the huge hair. So going for a different aesthetic. But at the end of the day, wrestling Ivory, she's a veteran pro here. Chyna, he won with a very, very, very lax cover, which has gotten a lot of scrutiny over the years. But this would be one of the last times that we see Chyna in WWE. So it was a Chyna match. And it was a memorable Chyna match, I can say that.
Walter?
It was exactly what I expected it to be and should have been, a squash. I figured if they're going to put China in the women's division, she's just got to plow through everybody, and they did for her entire run in the women's division.
Yeah, if anything, I would say this was a feel-good squash, if anything, because after all, I mean, China, especially now that she's no longer with us, it's like you do want to look back on this moment with good memories, because after all, not that long after the show, like a couple months later, she'd be gone from the company. So, yeah, and like Kronicz said, yeah, this was one of her last matches. I think the last televised match I can remember she had was over a month later at Judgment Day against Lita, and then that was really it for her after that. But
and then she was doing like Robot Wars commentary or something.
Yeah,
she
was the host of Robot Wars at one point. Joni Laurer, by her real name. But yeah, and also China, holy shit, she looked hot on this night. So there you go. But
facts.
Yeah, James.
The story heading up to this entire story was stupid. However, the payoff was almost worth it because you got what you wanted. You got China destroying Ivory in less than 3 minutes. It's what it had to be. And you could sort of almost sense like a small heel turn coming. You never fully get there because she would be gone by May. But she went over big.
Scott?
It was well documented that China did not want to wrestle the women. She had already had all these matches against men. She had been Intercontinental champion. So she really felt that like having to now wrestle women was a step back for her. And you can kind of tell in her demeanor and her facials that she really is not fully into it. As long as she's the star, she's happy at this point. She's going through a lot of shit backstage with Stephanie and Paul and all that deal. And like you said, she'd be gone soon too. And, good on Ivory for being the pro to help work Joni through this match, because the conversations are out there for people to find out with what Ivory had to put up with trying to get this match together. But yeah, like James was saying, everyone's saying here, that was the job. It was the build up. It was the payoff to the story. You got what you wanted to see. 3 minutes could have been a couple of minutes, maybe too long, but it did what it needed to do. Got business done.
Ricky?
I felt that China was out of her element because, like James said, I mean, she was Intercontinental champion. At one point, she was supposed to be the number one contender for the world title. So she's been wrestling with like people like Jericho, people like Jeff Jarrett, and put her back in the women's division. Felt like, how grandiose of China to be number one contender for world title to the women's title, even though the women's title is respected and one of the greatest titles there. But again, I just thought it was a squash match, which they needed to do. And Ivory, one of the greatest veterans out there, did the job. And it gave China her WrestleMania moment.
And in the end, China would defeat Ivory in 2 minutes, 39 seconds to become the new women's champion. Now let's get to the real good stuff about this show. Don't worry, the first half was really good, but the second half here, oh my god, we're in for a ride. So,
give me the family jewels, damn it.
So up next, it's a street fight with Mick Foley as special guest referee, Vince McMahon with Stephanie McMahon and Trish Stratus versus Shane McMahon with Linda McMahon. So, before we get into everybody's thoughts, so yeah, the story of this was the fallout of Foley being fired as commissioner, and Vince wanted to get revenge on Linda for contracts and stuff that she had with Mick. I want a divorce! Oh, God.
No more money?
Nervous breakdown, and then Vince reverses the decision and starts to put her in a sanitarium of medication. Just
I don't know who did the better one of divorce, Vince or Edge to Vicky on her storyline.
That's a good question. But and then it turns into Shane trying to defend his mother's honor and everything. And then of course, while it's like looking back, it might make you feel a little uncomfortable seeing a father say this to their son, even if it's in a script. But it's still probably one of the most brilliant mic burns of all time in terms of storytelling. Vince saying, "I will never forgive your mother for giving birth to you." It was like, jeez.
Jeez, like fucking damn, Vince.
Like, holy
Then again,
shit.
this is a guy who wanted an Ethan's angle with his own daughter.
It's
He
like
was from North Carolina.
Ding,
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding,
technically,
ding.
yeah.
Manly, North Carolina, this town. But anyways, and then, of course, the storyline takes another turn 6 days before with the Raw Nitro simulcast, because Vince buys WCW, and then they do the angle of Shane coming into Panama City. The name on the contract does say McMahon, but it reads Shane McMahon. I now own WCW.
WCW.
So then we get the match, and they both come out to no chance. So this is shortly before Shane would finally get his own song. Here comes the money. And of course, you see up in one of the VIP skybox suites, some WCW guys, particularly Lance Storm, Mike Awesome, Chavo Guerrero, Stacy Keibler, Hugh Morris.
And if you notice, as he's going to the entrance, it says on there, WCW Commission Chairman Shane McMahon. I'm like, Finkel, you could have said the WCW Chairman. I'm like,
I know, right?
Power Finkel, I love it. You could have. That could have been awesome.
WCW wrestlers look so thrilled to be there.
Yeah, they were just like,
yeah, they were just.
This is it.
In the cheap seats.
Heck.
Easiest payday in their lives.
Yep. Walter, I'll let you start this one.
This is, I'm pretty sure Scott will see on the same page with me as this. I'm sure you guys will. This was the ECW match for the show. It's booked. It's got Heyman all over it. It's got overbooking. It's it's a wild fight for two non-wrestlers. I found it entertaining. Run-ins, all sorts of overbooking. It's the ECW match of the night. I know you guys want to say Taker and Triple H is. Now this is, in terms of booking, this is.
Yeah, put Dreamer as Shane, Raven as Vince, Beulah as Linda.
Now that you put it that way, you guys are right. Now I'm thinking. I'm like,
I want to picture Beulah as Linda.
Trish be more like Beulah?
Yes.
No. Beulah, because
Can we
Dreamer
picture
loved Beulah.
Trish and Beulah?
No, Trish would be Francine.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, it's like, as James will probably attest, yeah, you had to have a bunch of smoke and mirrors for this match to get over, but holy shit, these two delivered and put on one of the best WrestleMania brawls of all time. And yet, for two, quote, non-wrestlers, they put on a great fucking match here. Mm-hmm. And of course, couple of the famous moments of the match. First, after Shane misses the leap of faith through the table, and then Trish coming out, bringing Linda out, helping Vince, slap to the face, so you got the payoff for Trish's revenge after Vince made her bark like a dog a few weeks prior on Raw. And then the cat fight with Trish and Stephanie continuing their story. And then,
Good luck finding that on the WWE Network on Peacock. Just saying.
Anywhere.
Not that it was a good moment, but anyways.
The Peacock thing is this week's Dr. Seuss. I've been watching stuff on the network. It's not that bad.
It's not that big of a deal.
But anyways,
not that big a deal.
But anyways,
non-issue.
But anyways, and then the big moment of the match comes at the finish, where Vince is just pounding Shane with the damn trash can while Linda's sitting in the corner. And then Vince is like, "You watch this." Turns around, Linda stands up. Right in the family jewels. Low blow. And
that's
then,
the ECW part right there. That's the ECW Paul Heyman booking.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then Foley coming back in and beating the crap out of Vince. And then coast to coast. I think this was the first time Shane ever did the coast to coast, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
it's not a Van Terminator because there's no springboard involved.
Yeah.
And Terminator has a springboard involved. This is just Shane climbing up, moving, and jumping. So it's a whole different thing, people.
And you know what's funny? I bet you Van Damme and Shane were immediately the ones who point that out to you, the first people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Shane, no doubt, he was a huge fan of ECW, loved Rob Van Dam. That's where he got the idea from, but he knew he couldn't do it exactly the same. So he put a little twist on it. That's what you got to do.
He called RVD, and RVD was like, yeah, man, I mean, do what you want with it, bro.
Who are you? Who are you? Shane who? I don't know Shane. Sabu, answer.
Fuck this. Shane, fuck you.
Click.
Sabu in the background dying.
Right.
Oh my God.
RVD's like, you know what? I got Shane on the phone, man. I'm ripping the fuck out of him. This is great.
This is great.
You got Shane McMahon, Daddy! You got Shane McMahon!
Hey, Daddy, get Shane on the phone, Daddy. Get him hooked up, brother. Whistle.
Yeah, but what? Sabu knocks out Fonzie so Rob and Shane can finish their conversation.
Anyways, James.
Great brawl here. Again, like, you had to have smoke and mirrors. You couldn't just have a wrestling match with these two. It had to be some sort of street fight, which is per tradition with Vince. Great brawl, great moment at the end. The crowd went fucking nuts for Linda just standing up and a low blow. It's fucking perfect.
The biggest and the only big pop Linda ever got.
Yep.
Scott.
If you
Just
want to run
fucking
for office,
horrible
sweetheart, this
every
was the
other
time to
way.
do it.
Scott.
I just said, lady, if you wanted to run for office, this is the time you should have done it. But point being, this match shows you the lengths that Vince will go to when he is pushed against the wall. You know, because it was the Monday Night Wars and everything. Now they've come to an end, but everything that led up to this point was Vince putting everything he had into the company, including putting himself out there. Granted, the McMahon family history stuff should have ended at Invasion 100%, be done with it. But of course that wouldn't happen. But with this match, yeah, like you said, it's got to have the smoke and mirrors for Vince to be able to go out there and put on a long match with Shane. Walt's analysis of being an ECW match, I 100% agree with, but good match nonetheless. It's still good. So,
yes.
Ricky?
And this is what they're going to do. This is what they're going to do with Bad Bunny and Miz. It's going to be a smoke and mirrors. Okay, with Damien, you're going to see Miz, Damian Priest, and Morrison do all the work while Big Bad Bunny look good.
But Bunny will do a freaking dive. He'll do something here and there, and probably do something out of nowhere. So,
Ricky.
It was a great match. I mean, entertaining as hell. And to be Vince's first WrestleMania match, to be honest, it was his first WrestleMania match, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you're right. It is.
Yeah, his first WrestleMania match against his own son, his own flesh and blood, just father and son rivalry. Who's the alpha male? Of course, Shane won the match because we know that the build-up for the Alliance versus WWF was gonna happen later on. And then we got what we got at the very end, but that's a different story. But great match, especially when Lynn just kicks the Vince right in the family jewels. I was like, yes, there is a God. There is a God.
Kronicz.
Man, Vince McMahon was on fire during this time. Like the whole build up to this, the I want a divorce and the like take your clothes off, Trish Stratus, and he was just such a miserable prick, and wishing that his son wasn't even born. It just built up a great feud here. It's so great that Shane McMahon purchasing WCW kind of seemed like an afterthought, right? And yeah, Linda McMahon it's so crazy. She just stood up and she got one of the biggest pops of the whole night. But having Linda probably in the best situation you can, where she doesn't even talk, she's just there, and then at the right moment she comes out. So this is a classic match. Seeing that coast to coast was great. This was a good hardcore type match right here. And the involvement with Trish, the involvement with Linda, Stephanie, and even Mick Foley, coming out here for another WrestleMania. At the time, we didn't know how many more times we was going to see Mick Foley in any capacity at WrestleMania. So to see him take some chair shots at WrestleMania, just icing on the cake.
And mind you, Shane McMahon is one of 2 people that were on this card that we're going to be seeing next weekend wrestle still.
I know, it's
Jeez.
crazy
Wow.
to think.
Jesus God.
One thing I do
All
want
these
to
years
add.
later.
We're going 21 years ago. Take WrestleMania 20. We're going 20 years ago. Take WrestleMania 20 and see who was on WrestleMania 1 that was on that show. That wrestled.
That wrestled, yeah.
Oh, that wrestled.
That wrestled on the first show, wrestled on WrestleMania 20. I don't think there's anybody.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
One thing I do want to add.
We got somebody from WrestleMania 17 wrestling back in 2001 wrestling in WrestleMania at 21.
James, you want to add something?
Originally supposed to be Vince versus Foley, but then they changed it around to do Vince versus Shane for the better.
Oh yeah,
Because Vince versus Foley would have been good,
Yeah.
but Vince versus Shane was the much better match to do.
This
Plus, I also think there's a
One
mandate where Vince doesn't win at WrestleMania.
yeah.
Yeah.
He never has.
Or,
Yeah,
or
so I was about to say, has he ever won? I'm like, no.
No.
He has never won a WrestleMania.
he never like wins his match, but there's always something later on that kind of still makes him relevant. Yeah, he lost to Brett, he loses to Shane, he lost to Hogan. So, but something always happens. Lost to Shawn. But something always happens. To keep him
But
up.
he has never lost to Stephanie.
I don't want to talk about that match.
That's funny that James mentioned that because you've heard the story about Dreamer being booked for WrestleMania for this WrestleMania to have a spot on there. I wonder if the original plan was Foley versus McMahon and they were gonna have Dreamer involved in it because ECW guys were starting to migrate over there. But that was the one where where Dreamer said he was visioning himself killing Paul and then going in the ring and offing him doing it himself.
You could have seen Shane and Vince team up against Foley and Dreamer. You could have had that. So.
Yeah.
Granted, of course, things happen and WCW was bought and everything, so that completely goes off the table. But fantasy booking wise, could have happened. So.
But yeah,
with Terry Funk in their corner, mind you.
Jackass!
The McMahons are nothing but jackasses.
That's right.
I see two guys who want to be Florida crackers.
Hey, Shane, your mother's a whore. Hey, Vince, your children are bastards.
Got this whole thing of castor oil and I'm going to dump it all over my body. And now I know what it feels like to be a true McMahon.
Man, there you go.
WWF sucks.
Bang.
Somebody clip that, please. But anyways,
Foley versus Shane and Vince. Woo!
Oh man.
Oh, that would have been one of the biggest pops.
Vince wouldn't give Funk a match at that WrestleMania to be in the same match with him because Funk had a sick horse and couldn't be one of the knights. So he'll probably still hold a grudge. You wouldn't let him do that.
My horse is sick. I gotta go home.
I got a sick horse home, Vince. I gotta take care of him. I don't want to kill him like my daddy did that jackass.
But in the end, Shane McMahon defeated Vince McMahon in 14 minutes, 12 seconds. So after that, oh man.
Yes.
Oh, this match. Up next, the 5th of 6 championship matches for the WWF Tag Team Championships. It's tables, ladders, and chairs 2. It's Dudley Boys with Spike Dudley defending against the Hardy Boys with Lita and Edge and Christian with Rhino. Oh my god, where do I begin about this match? So let's rewind a year and a half before to October 1999 at No Mercy, where this feud started, when it was at first Edge and Christian and the Hardys, or the Brood at the time, in that amazing tag team ladder match that pretty much helped set
Terry
the
Runnels
tone.
Invitational?
Yeah, for $100 grand. But that match,
and Terry Runnels,
the TIT. But yeah, that match pretty much helped set the stage for this whole thing, because them two just went out there and put on an amazing match that year at that show. And then you fast forward to the Royal Rumble. Now it turns into the Dudleys and the Hardys going at it in that tables match, elimination tag team tables match. That was great. And then all three teams come together the year prior at 16 in the triangle ladder match. That was basically the prototype to the TLC match because chairs and tables were introduced, and that match was phenomenal. And then you get the first TLC match at SummerSlam the prior August, and Edge and Christian win that. So far, Edge and Christian have gone unbeaten in their high profile weapons matches feud up to this point. Of course, you rewind back to the Rumble when the Dudleys won the belts from Edge and Christian. That was a normal tag match, and it was a great tag match too. Mm-hmm. But it's all three teams are still at each other's throats. Let's do it again, folks. Let's do another TLC match. Because the first one, while wasn't as great as this one, it pretty much set the bar for what you would see going forward. And then this match, hands down, wiped away the first TLC match. Now, is it as good or better than the Triangle Ladder match? That's up for you to decide. I think, just by a hair, it's better than the Triangle Ladder match. Because all three teams just go out there and bludgeon the shit out of each other. And then with the advent of Spike, Rhino, and Lita getting involved, it almost turns into a 9-person match. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome. And, of course, the classic, the three major big spots of the night. First, Jeff doing the swanton off the big ladder through Spike and Rhino. And then the spot of the match, Jeff dangling from the belts and trying to hold on the ladder. Bubba pulls it out. Yeah, sex joke. We got him. Edge up to the top of the big ladder, and the spear. Oh my God! Edge just speared Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half. And then
but that was the reason Edge. Never mind. Never mind. Keep going.
No idea where you're going with that. Anyways, and then the third big spot was pretty much the final spot of the night with Bubba and Matt on top of the big ladder, Rhino pushing, and then they just crash, completely obliterated 4 tables. They tried that spot with Bubba at SummerSlam, but he only got 2 of the tables. Whereas here, they got all 4 of them, and they all just flew everywhere. It was fucking great. And yeah, and Rhino helping Edge and Christian win. I mean, oh my... wow. I can't even talk anymore. James, you go ahead, because I can't shut up.
You did forget one spot about Lita jerking Edge off.
Yes, that was on commentary. On commentary. It's on record.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Lita jerked Edge off.
Nice foreshadowing.
Ladder.
And I was foreshadowing.
Yeah, and that thong is really hanging out when she goes after Edge, too.
But I thought this match was... I thought this match was great. I do wish, though, that maybe they could have done another gimmick, because they done the Triangle Ladder match. They did TLC. Maybe you could have done... Had they not done Hell in a Cell back in December, maybe done Hell in a Cell with these three teams.
And caskets?
Caskets. I've done one of those.
Literally, no chairs were allowed in that match.
No, I used a chair in that match.
No, didn't Andy come and take the chair away from you? No chairs.
I don't remember that. No.
I thought Andy grabbed the chair.
I was in the match, dude. I think I know.
Okay, all right.
Relax. Go ahead.
But
it's 20 years.
As great as this... Great match here, great spots. Everybody got involved. Everybody did something. Credit to all 9 of them. You got to give credit to the 3 extras as well. Just great overall stuff. Maybe could have done another gimmick, but it was what it was.
Yeah, because even Jeff said himself he wished that they could have done a Hell in a Cell match with all 6 of these guys, and he said he wanted to do a swanton off the top of the cell because he said it looked fun.
Could you imagine some of the spots they would have done, like monkey bars on the top of the cell?
Yeah.
And just crazy. They'd have done some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
True.
They'd be making like erector sets.
Hell in the Cell was Undertaker's match, so they would have done it yet. Maybe a few years down the road.
Scott?
pretty much it's the culmination of this 3-team feud. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. I mean, it's Vince stepped in shit when he discovered that these 3 teams had chemistry. It was great enough you had 2 teams with great chemistry. Now we have 3. Let's just milk it for all it's worth and get everything we can get out of them, pal. And that's what you get with this match. Hell of a run down that damn ramp for Spike, Rhino, and Lita to do in that match. It's like Spike is like gunning it. Here comes Rhino, and Lita's like doing that nice, like, Baywatch looking freaking just drive down the ring there. But,
to run for hours.
Hours and hours. They get everything. See that changes on it. Yeah, great match. I actually, when I went to WrestleMania 18 a year later, I went to Fan Access and they had the booth set up so you could record yourself doing commentary on parts of a match, and I got to do a commentary on this match. It's only bits and pieces of it, but I did get to do that. And the guy sitting next to me was like, "Wow, that was really good." And I was like, "Thank you very much." In my head, I'm like, "I know," but no. It was it's one of the most memorable matches. They say it steals the show, but it's really hard to say you stole the show when you are sandwiched in between with 4 very well standout matches for the second half of this show. So,
Ricky,
you cannot for the life of me surpass TLC 2. I mean, sure, the first TLC will always be the first one, but this one, everybody shined. And there was one of the most underrated moments was when Jeff Hardy was trying to jump through the ladders to get to the
when he was
ladder,
trying to
get
jump
the belts.
the 3 ladders and
Tight
lost his balance.
But he missed the balance. Man. And then he went back to the ladder. Of course, Edge speared Jeff and all that. But again, everybody shined through this moment. Even the little details. The devil's in the details. Great match. Probably, how many people have not yet to see this match? It's in almost every single highlight, every single oh my god moment in wrestling history. You cannot surpass this match. Granted, today's TLC matches are, I don't want to say they're weak, but they don't have the same energy.
They're formulaic is what they are.
Problem is, everybody tries to replicate this, but they don't understand what was involved with this match to replicate it. They just look at the spots and, ooh, I can do that, I can do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, great match. And I don't know how you could surpass TLC 2. And like Levi said, did this match steal the show? It's kind of hard to tell because, come on, we still got 2 amazing matches to come.
Kronicz?
Man, talk about a match that people are still wrestling from this match today in wrestling. At WrestleMania coming up shortly, and in AEW, Matt, Jeff Hardy, Edge, and Christian. It's wild. After having a match like this, that they've been able to have such long careers, and they're still around today. To me, this is the best TLC match. This is the one everybody tries to duplicate. Having the Dudley boys in there, helping them put the match together, more veteran guys, I think really helped for this match. If Jeff was actually able to pull off that spot where he was walking over the top of the ladders, that would have been unbelievable. I mean, it's insane that this man tried, but it's Jeff Hardy. Having Spike in there, having Rhino, you can really see that ECW is spilling into the WWE, which is great. Lita, my goodness. It was great stuff. It was a great match.
The money shot. The money shot. I mean,
that running.
And I like Paul Heyman's commentary. Take it all off.
Yeah, he was wilding out on WrestleMania on this episode.
He saw puppies.
Yeah, exactly. He was trying to fill that space a little bit, right?
Walter. The artist is back.
Yeah.
There's Edge spearing. Who was it? Was
Jeff?
Jeff that he speared off the ladder, and there's Christian and Dudley's and Matt dead, and there's the belt. Looks like 2 belts, 2 jock straps hanging off the thing, and there you go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna a Salvatore Dali effect off that. Yeah,
Salvatore Dali, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
This match and along with the previous TLC match, along with No Mercy 99, set the blueprint for these kind of matches. They laid down the foundation for the next up to today, and that's why maybe we're so numb to these ladder matches now, because we saw all this 20 years ago. These were the founders, and easy to duplicate, hard to master, and that's what these guys did in these matches, including this one. Yep. The art of slamming each other through furniture, as Jim Cornette calls it.
The crowd went banana.
But in the end,
I forgot that they did this match again about a month later on SmackDown.
Yeah, with Benoit and Jericho added in there, and that match was great too. But yeah,
but trying to do it on a SmackDown, my goodness, that's asking a lot.
I know. But in the end, Edge and Christian defeated the Dudleys and the Hardys to become the new tag team champions in 15 minutes, 47 seconds. Then after that, we get the attendance announcement before we get into the returns of Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And they're calling the next match. And man, the two got big pops, which was really, really cool to see.
I know. And I miss them a lot.
I miss them both very much. Which leads us to the Gimmick Battle Royal. So all the participants in alphabetical order. We have the Bushwhackers of Luke and Butch, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, Doink the Clown, Iron Sheik. Okay, maybe not alphabetical order. I guess in order entrance.
Entrance, yeah.
I thought it looked alphabetical, and then I kept reading. It's like, wait a minute.
ACDEF guy, HIJK elemental buddy.
Anyway, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, Doink the Clown, Nikolai Volkov, Tugboat. Oh, Uncle Fred is here.
Uncle Fred! That's Uncle Fred!
The Goon, Earthquake, Gobbledygooker. Brother Love, Michael P.S. Hayes, One Man Gang, Kamala, Kimchi, Jim, goddamn motherfucker! Repo Man, and Sergeant Slaughter. So this match, James, I'll let you start.
Nice nostalgia match. Everybody got their entrance. It was all about the entrances. It's like, oh, I remember that guy. I remember that guy. Holy crap, I haven't seen that guy in years. It was just a good nostalgia match, and everybody get out of the pool because it only lasted a few minutes.
Yep. Scott?
Yeah, it's just so much fun to see these guys just kind of rumble around in the ring. Gene and Bobby just doing all the usual sound bites they would do with the commentary. You could cut the intensity in the air with a knife, and all of Bobby's jokes and everything. And Cornette and Brother Love just hanging out in the corner with each other because they didn't want to.
Non-wrestlers.
Non-wrestlers just stick with each other, trying to work with each other. It's just a slop fest. Doesn't matter. Iron Sheik, by the way, still on the way to the ring. And
on your way
next year in Texas, by the way.
In Texas, yep. And yeah, it's just
to the ring. It'll be WrestleMania 38.
I want them to do another one of these.
Kayfabe news.
Like a 90s version of this. I think they definitely could do it. I don't see why they couldn't.
Ricky?
Yeah.
Nostalgia at its finest. I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I remember him." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, this is the great era of the 70s, 80s, 90s." And then, when I saw Tugboat's entrance, I was like, "Please don't trip. Please don't trip. Please don't trip."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Please, no."
Yeah, this was the most random match on the card. I remember thinking at the time when they announced this, I was like, "What?" But I was surprised. It was a lot of fun to see everybody to pop up. The match was as short as it possibly could be, which is a good thing. But seeing Gene Okerlund, seeing Bobby the Brain Heenan, I was excited. I was hoping we would get to see more of them in the future. But yeah, it was a fun match to throw in there between the brutal TLC match and the next match of Undertaker and Triple H. So it's a good fun break. I enjoyed it.
Walter?
The one match my parents joined us to watch in the living room. The only match. They went to go watch the TV in the bedroom. I don't know why. They weren't. I guess they were no longer wrestling fans. But they came in and watched the battle royal. It was fun. And again, it was cool to see Mean Gene and Bobby the Brain doing commentary. I think Gorilla Monsoon had passed at that point, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did, because he passed during it was like
99, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a nice thing, but so it was a nice nostalgic moment, and yeah, it was just funny to see Cornette and Brother Love go to work on each other. You see they're really trying hard too.
Yep.
But yeah, basically, yeah, this match, it was fun, and it was fun for the nostalgia's sake, and this is where you could definitely tell the Attitude Era was done. The fact that we had this match basically showed you that this was the final night of the Attitude Era, and that this was the culmination.
They didn't do that stuff back when it was the heat of the Monday Night War. It's like you wouldn't have seen this a couple of years earlier at WrestleMania, but here, everybody's out. Let's just fucking throw everybody, give them a payday.
Yeah,
although I will say, Hillbilly Jim looked like he could still have another run.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah.
Out of everybody in that match, it's like
Michael
they took
Hayes?
him from 1985 and brought him to 2001.
I swear to God, Michael Hayes, holy shit, this guy is flanducious hair. I'm like, dude!
He probably could have had a 1-year run if possible, and he wasn't that old, or he was still early 40s at that point, so he probably could have done something.
He would have taken it if he got the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. He was trying to insert himself into the Hardy Boys story.
Hey, I got me an idea.
That's
Why don't you give me another run?
But yeah, in the end, Iron Sheik wins, last eliminating Hillbilly Jim in 3 minutes 7 seconds. And post-match, Sergeant Slaughter with the Cobra Clutch on Sheik before salute, because fuck you, and then walk out.
Of all the people to give promo packages to, the gobbledygooker.
They wanted to make sure people understood what the hell they were looking at.
Yeah, I guess.
Didn't you used to date her? Don't
That
remind
was
me.
a good line.
It's hot as fuck.
Yeah, a video package for Gobbledygooker and for who else got one?
The Goon? Was it the Goon that they get?
No, Sergeant Slaughter.
It was Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter. That's right. He shoots blanks now.
I swear, all those great years in World Class, and also I think he had a little bit of a run in Mid-South, but he's known for his short stint as the Goon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, brutal.
Yeah.
If he's known.
The Goon.
But now moving into
brutal.
But now moving into the penultimate match of WrestleMania 17, Undertaker versus Triple H. Now I alluded to this earlier when talking about Angle and Benoit. It's a common story now that before March rolled around, Triple H and Undertaker had no opponent for this show. And Vince thought this was a massive mistake. We need them on the show. Put them together. And a good thing, too. And I like how they build the story up. Like, after Triple H won the 3 stages of Hell match at No Way Out and felt, you know what, I should be in the main event of that match for the title. I have beaten everyone here. Undertaker's like, well, yeah, you have, but you've never beaten me, and I'll make you famous. And then we get this, like, brutal build-up between these two, just going at each other. Undertaker getting the restraining order to stay 25 feet away from Stephanie, and then Kane almost tosses her ass off a balcony until Regal gives him the match. But before we talk about the match, we need to talk about Motorhead. Oh my God, the performance they put on here was awesome.
We are Motorhead.
And we're going to kick your ass. And you know, actually, in spirit of that, whenever I get this drum set, that might be one of the first songs I'll play is the game.
And I want to say this about Lemmy.
How you play it. It's all about the game and how you play it.
It felt weird seeing Lemmy not in his signature mustache.
Not with the Fu Manchu.
It felt weird. And this was, again, for a lot of metal fans and wrestling fans, this was their pinnacle. I mean, WrestleMania, the biggest WrestleMania of the year, you had fucking Lemmy, Motorhead themselves, singing as Triple H is walking down the aisle. Triple H
and they didn't announce this beforehand, right?
No.
Yeah, it was a surprise. to me.
No,
I was like, what?
and Triple
We are
H,
Motorhead.
and Triple H, I said in many interviews, that gave me the biggest chills of all time because of course it didn't show it, but he was like in the inside, like, oh my god, Lemmy is singing and walking down the aisle at WrestleMania. How fucking awesome is that? And to do it twice?
Yeah.
And then you have
this was a better one because the second time the guitar wasn't working properly.
Yeah.
They lost the guitar in the mix.
And then you had Taker coming out to freaking Limp Bizkit. At the time, Limp Bizkit was the biggest, one of the biggest bands out there, which I'm like, I'll give it a pass. Right now, Limp Bizkit,
they don't count anymore. So.
Yeah.
no, not anymore.
Motorhead is immortal.
Popular on the radio at that time.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Vince was going to capitalize on it. So
Yeah, Vince was gonna capitalize.
Yeah,
and
so-
we made Triple H happy because Triple H is a metalhead, and we had them.
Yeah, also at some 30-degree Taker. I mean, come on, you make metalheads happy and wrestling fans happy, and you're a fan of both. Hey, it's like a fucking orgasm. 2 for 1.
2 for 1, babe. Nice analogy. I like that.
All right. Scott, I'll let you start with this one.
Well, man, what is to say about this match? I mean, you got 2 veterans in there just going balls out with everything they got with this one. The Motorhead entrance, of course, you can feel that freaking how stoked and how pumped up Triple H is going down the aisle, and then Taker with that long entranceway. He can really open that bad boy up and let it fly down the ring with his motorcycle and everything. It all adds to the aura and the overall emotion of this match. It's like, oh, this is gonna be so fucking good, and it delivers so much. It over delivers, and it would be a great building block to what we would see those two do at WrestleMania several years later, and just how much respect they would gain from each other. And overall, I mean, we're gonna get to it later on. This is my favorite match on the show. I just think it's masterfully done between the two of them. Bump the referee. We're going to fight around here. We're going to fight in the crowd. We're going to do this shit off the platform. We're going to go back in the ring, use the sledgehammer. We're going to do all this shit because we can, because it's WrestleMania. And we're going to try to steal the show from Rock and Austin. It's competitive still. So they're still going to be like, fuck them. We're going to fucking own the show tonight. And in my opinion, they did.
And I'm going to say this right now. Kudos to Mike Chioda for playing along. I mean,
playing dead for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Nowhere in the world can you still do that. Only in wrestling you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And there, I like the scene where Triple H pushes Chioda and Chioda pushes him back.
Pushes him back. And then Triple H stares him down and Chioda just steps back. Like, oh shit, don't hurt me.
And the chick is like,
Taker takes him out. Taker takes him out because he's so frustrated. The American Badass will not take shit from nobody, so he just takes the referee out, drops the elbow on him.
Again, kudos to Chioda.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag.
Kronicz.
Yeah, Undertaker working on his number 9 in his streak. This is early Undertaker with him talking about his yard. He was bringing that up in his promos, which is awesome. I mean, that's something that would be a defining part of his career. This is a great match to me. I really like this match. They went out into the crowd. They took it all over the place. Of course, Lemmy, Motorhead, that was a big surprise. Although some of the lyrics seem to be changed to here's the game, I am the game. And so that's okay, though. It was awesome. It was awesome to see that, and a hell of a match between these two guys.
Walter.
Love the match, probably my favorite on the show. Honestly, the way I see it, though, from what I recall, it feels like a drawn-out squash. It's basically Undertaker destroying Triple H for 15, 20 minutes, if you realize it. You knew from the end Taker was going to get the win, but it was just so good to see it happen, though.
Don't destroy his bike.
Yeah, and not only
the moral of this match: don't mess with Taker's bike. Hogan should have learned that from watching.
It's like
this.
Triple H crossed the line. You knew he was going to get the shit beat out of him.
And
he does.
Hogan didn't see this match.
And this is the first time that WWE actually now realizes the streak, because Jericho says, no, at WrestleMania. This was the first time they actually said it.
The slow
build up
towards
to the next
building up to the streak.
Yeah. And it wasn't until
I think they just it kind of happened on accident. They've realized
Right.
Taker
Yeah.
is not
Yeah,
lost
it was
at
not planned.
WrestleMania, so they
and
decided
then
to
it
play
wasn't
along
until
with
the
it.
Like, oh
following
shit, we have a
year-
streak going. Hey,
And
let's
it
work
wasn't
with
until the
this.
following year with Flair where they actually 4 long years for the
And
streak.
then-
Mm-hmm.
Of
10
course.
next year.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
it
and
was
then the
part
following
of
year we
history.
get short-haired heel Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Big
Another
easy.
match where he basically beats the shit out of the guy for 10, 15 minutes, but it's so beautifully told.
And revigorates the man's career.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. My God. It kickstarted Ric Flair.
Yep,
But also, the funny thing with Triple H and Undertaker, as Scott mentioned, they top this 2 times over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is a
They
great
topped
building
this 2
block
times
to
over.
level this up. And every match they have
Yep.
WrestleMania goes
Boop, boop,
bing, bing, bing. Yep.
But yeah, like this match, it was a great match between these two. Although looking back at it, especially when they did that bump with Kvlt, it's like, why not just made this a no holds barred match? I
Well,
We
mean,
already
yeah,
had
but-
that on the show.
yeah,
Remember, we had
Well-
that in a show, and of course, you were going to have back-to-back no DQ
yeah,
matches.
that's true. That's true. But still, it's like you look back on whenever they did that, it's like, yeah, Kvlt playing dead for 10 minutes just so they could fight in the crowd. You know, it's felt a
Hey,
little
Kyoto's
weird,
small,
but, but
that's a hell of a clothesline.
that's true. A hell of a clothesline. But yeah, and of course the choke slam from the camera scaffold down to the floor. That was really cool. And then, of course, probably the one moment of this match I'm going to remember forever. They get the sledgehammer out, and as Taker's going for the last ride, of course they use the... sometimes Triple H would use a real sledgehammer. Here, I believe it wasn't, but the wood was real. And Triple H hits Taker in the head with the wooden part, and it sliced him open. It's like, motherfucker, man.
But it actually, that shot of the end with Taker bleeding, winning, I'm
yeah,
like, fix.
Mhm.
yeah. James?
Add to that, Triple H has said that he always used real sledgehammers. The one time he didn't was this match, and he hurt Undertaker. But this was a really good match. These two went out there. It's like, okay, we're okay. It's scheduled as a regular match. How are we going to have a no rules match with rules? Let's bump the referee for 10 minutes and go out there.
Mm-hmm.
But in the
And
end,
again, did it steal the show? Did it steal the show? That's up for you to decide.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, Undertaker defeats Triple H in 18 minutes, 19 seconds. Now, we're at the main event of WrestleMania 17 and the 6th and final championship match of the night. For the big one, the WWF Championship. The Rock defending against Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, where to begin to talk about the build-up to this match? So, let's rewind back to 1999, back to Mania 15 when these two had their first Mania match. That was a classic in its own right. Austin getting the belt back that night. Following that up a month later with a better match at Backlash. And then Austin's gone for a while, so... And some people were... Whenever Austin went away, there was some people in the company skeptical about, like, oh crap, what's gonna happen? Thankfully, The Rock capitalized on that and became the big face of the company and helped keep the ratings stable and keep growing during Austin's absence. And then when Austin came back, it was like as if he never left. And this felt like a great culmination to the comeback story of Austin, coming back from possibly career-ending neck surgery, coming back, and it's like 3 different stories going in. First, taking care of the man who actually ran him over, Rikishi, then to the mastermind, Triple H.
Did it
and
for
going
The Rock.
and then going after the mastermind behind it all with Triple H, and now he wants his belt back that he's been wanting to get back for a long time. So Rumble happens, wins the Rumble, bloody mess and all, goes through the 3 stages of hell with Triple H. And then when we get to the actual build-up to this match, it's like, yeah, at first it felt odd when they tried to incorporate Deborah into the whole thing, being The Rock's manager. Thankfully, they scrapped that very quickly, and then we got more of a I don't know what you would call it, a more like egotistical kind of build where it's like they both got an ego.
More
They
serious.
want more serious build, like especially that one SmackDown segment where Austin, like, tough, like very harshly puts a beer on Rock's chest, like a hard cheer and then a hard cheer, and then they just beat the fuck out of each other. And then, of course, I believe it was the Go Home SmackDown where we get the classic sit-down interview between the two. And, yeah, Austin basically laying it out there.
I gotta beat you.
I
gotta beat you.
So, we get the match, and then before the match starts, it's announced it's a no DQ match, and Jim Ross like, when was that written? And then and then Austin comes out to a massive fucking pop. And then
Which I wish that Stone Cold's theme was his traditional theme. Would have been a lot.
But the Disturbed theme was great. Come on.
Glass Shatters, I love that theme.
Yeah.
I know it's on. I know a lot of people don't, but I personally love that theme for Austin.
I loved it too. Then again, I like Disturbed.
Like the one after that sounded nothing like
The Alliance theme. Yeah. That was a great one, too. I think
and it fit his character.
I think in the history of wrestling, there have only been 2 wrestlers in my book who have had a great run with theme songs, Undertaker and Stone Cold. Because even Austin's Ringmaster theme was okay.
Yeah.
So,
Hogan.
Yeah, Hogan too. Yeah,
Hogan too.
Man.
Right, the Tiger and Real American. That's all he needed for his entire. Well, then Voodoo Child. So
yeah, that too. Yeah,
that's true.
Brandon,
and
best theme he ever had. Sorry, not sorry.
Career.
But anyway, so Scott, I'll let you start this one off.
Oof, where to start with this one? I mean, it's everywhere and anything it can be. I mean, they have to outdo what Taker and Triple H just did, so they got to throw everything at each other. They got to go around ringside, take a walk, as it's called. You got to go through the tables. You got to use chairs. You got to use everything we got around here. Both of them are going to bleed. Just throw everything at each other, and we'll get to the finish, of course.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether you agree with what they were going to do at the end of the match with the inevitable idea of turning Austin heel, they do everything in this match to lead up to that point. They're telling that story as it goes. With Austin trying to put Rock in the sharpshooter and Rock not giving up and doing it twice. Very reminiscent of what happened to him with Bret Hart. And Austin reverting back to his old days as the ringmaster, using the $1 Million Dream to try to put Rock down, and both men trading finishers on each other. And you can sense the audience is like, it's 90. I don't want to say 90, but they love Austin. They like Rock on the verge of loving him. And as the match goes, they're liking life, loving him more and more. Every time he starts kicking out and Austin's getting more frustrated and using the chair much more viciously. And when Vince comes out, then everyone's like, what the fuck is going on here? And we get the finish. Whatever happens, happens. Jim Ross has gone on record. It was Steve's idea because he felt his character was getting stale. Jim Ross was not a fan of it, didn't think it was going to work. He said, whatever you guys do, I'll support you, but I don't think it's a good idea. And Vince says, we're going to go with Steve on this one. He's done so much for us. He wants to do it. We're going to give it a try. We see where it went. Regardless of that factor, it's still a great match.
Ricky?
Where to begin with this match? I mean, when it comes to The Rock and Stone Cold's rivalries at WrestleMania, 15, 17, 19, this is my favorite out of this 3 anthology. I mean, the crazy spots I like with, of course, Stone Cold doing the little set press to The Rock doing the sharpshooter to Stone Cold, even though The Rock sharpshooter is... But again, it's The Rock and Stone Cold. They can really try like books. They have chemistry in the ring. The ending, though, of course, the finish, of course, at the time, it was highly controversial. But at the time, it gave Austin, I guess, a new life to the character because, like Scott said, it was getting stale and he wanted to still being relative. Then, again, we know what happened with the invasion of that, but again, what a match to end WrestleMania. And, of course, the fans were shocked when Stone Cold shook hands with the devil himself. You never see that in a million years.
Kronicz?
Man, this was a heck of a match. The video package going into this match is one of the most beloved matches, even though it's Limp Bizkit, which people kind of sour on these days, but still a fantastic video package. A good build to this thing. They got rid of Deborah early, which is probably a good thing. But man, what a brutal match. And to think that Stone Cold and The Rock, they'd have another encounter, which would be Stone Cold's last encounter. It's kind of wild. But this match right here, it's talked about. People say, "Oh my God, Stone Cold, he should have never turned heel," and even Stone Cold himself has been like, maybe it wasn't the greatest decision, but they went with it, and that's ballsy. And the Texas crowd here, it's weird listening to it because you hear the crowd and Stone Cold is doing his heel stuff and he's doing it effectively, but people still love him. It's not just that hard, just boo, from the crowd. And that's what they went for, and they pulled it off. I think that the way they executed it, you couldn't have done it any better. I mean, he just beat the shit out of The Rock with those vicious chair shots. And came away with the championship and shook the devil's hand himself. So in that moment, man, that was a hell of a match. And yeah, that is also, out of the three, this is my favorite with The Rock and Stone Cold at WrestleMania.
Walter?
The match. I prefer the WrestleMania 19 match. I just felt that told a much deeper, more emotionally tugging story, especially years down the road when we found out the whole underlying truth about it. But anyways, I love this match. The finish, and here was the thing when I initially saw it, the finish felt kind of weird for me because this is 2 years in a row where we have a heelish ending to WrestleMania, which is not the norm that I grew up with watching. Usually, and WrestleMania, and on a high note, a babyface note. It was a babyface pay-per-view. Much like WWE is a babyface promotion when it comes for champions and stuff. So I wasn't used to seeing a heel moment at the end of the biggest show in the industry of the year. All right. But regardless, it was a unique twist. It added another layer to the character for Steve Austin. I liked Steve's heel run. We still had some great moments. I know, but it didn't go over as well as people anticipated it to. But I still thought it was a decent run. He had a fucking great match of Benoit on SmackDown. Shortly after this, I think.
And Jericho too.
And Jericho. Oh, really good stuff. But like I said, I like the match. Strange ending, but when I look back on it, I feel it worked.
James.
This match was Steve Austin's entire WWF career in one match. You had all little bits and pieces of everything right here. I loved in the build-up where they teased where Austin would do anything to be the WWF champion. So the way they build it up, having him accepting Vince's help to win the WWF championship, it fit how they build the match. How they went with it and why they went with it, we crap on it because of what happened afterwards and the business afterwards. Because a lot of people, they look at this and they look Steve Austin's heel turn, they never watched again after this. A lot of people stopped watching after this. But it was a great match overall. One of WrestleMania's greatest main events. Austin going over. We knew Austin would go over because that's how they were building this up. Just the heel turn is one of those, but it's still talked about 20 years later. For good or for bad, we still talk about it, so it's memorable.
Yeah. And Paul Heyman even says that in the commentary. He says, this is a match that people will talk about for generations. Guess what? He was right.
And well, for me, I would even argue in terms of main events in WrestleMania history, I would argue this is the best one out of all of them because yeah, you had the best of everything about wrestling. You did have great wrestling, great brawling, great blood stuff, and storytelling. You had everything. And you notice after Austin had the neck surgery, he was slowly going back to the old Stone Cold, where he was more wrestling rather than brawling. And this especially showed in the matches with Jericho, Benoit, and especially Angle later in the year, where he's doing more wrestling rather than brawling. So he's kind of slowly weaving his way back into being more wrestling than brawling. But yeah, the finish, yeah, this is coming from the biggest Austin fan out of everybody in here. I look back at the heel turn, it's like a double-edged sword. You had some great comedy moments the rest of the year with Austin as the heel. You know, the whole kumbaya with Vince and the cowboy hats, and even though we like to shit on the what chant because the crowd fucking ruined it, but when Austin's around, it was cool. And it was funny when it first started. Nowadays, I hate the what chant because you fucking fucks ruin good moments. Oh, if we ever do an episode about
this
that.
is why we can't have good things.
But anyways. So yeah, it's like on one end, if not for the heel turn, we wouldn't have gotten some of the funniest moments in company history. However, yeah, Austin saying that he wanted to turn heel because he felt his character was stale, but I fucking bet you, as soon as he walked down, he heard that pop, he's like, oh shit, we're gonna make a big mistake here. Because as soon as he heard that pop, and even Austin, I think, said himself after hearing that pop, he almost wishes he could have went back and told them, let's not turn me heel, because they still love me. I guess to them I'm not stale, so let's not do it, but it was too late. And
also said that he wished he would have just audibled and stunned Vince right there in the middle of the ring.
Exactly.
Right. Which
Yeah,
would have worked.
It would have
Like, it
worked.
would've
Worked.
Like,
Would've saved it.
he could have still given the handshake, bam,
Handshake and then stunner him and been like,
He outsmarted him.
Outsmart.
And probably
outsmart the boss.
there was a perfect moment for that to happen when they're both standing over the rock sharing a beer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually what happens, right? Usually it's like toast, the other guy starts drinking, Austin, fuck you, boot, stunner. Right there it could have happened. And I think
You son of a bitch.
right. I think the audience was like anticipating to happen.
Yeah.
And then when it went off and it didn't happen, that's where it was really like,
it was really set in. Like,
this is really
oh my
happening?
God.
They're really together now? I'm just
Yeah.
Actually re-sparked Austin versus McMahon off of just that.
Now, I did have a question. I wanted to pose this to everybody, and even in the chat, because we're pretty much gone through the pay-per-view now. If WCW had not gone out of business, do you think Vince would have still greenlit this change? Do you think he would have still gone?
Nah, probably not.
Oh, yep, I agree, because it's like he would not have risked it if he didn't already own his competition. I don't think it would have been too big of a risk for him to say, "No, Steve, we can't do that tonight. We're still got this other stuff going on."
Right.
But that tells you right there how much things changed so quickly, because the acquisition only happens a few weeks before the big show, and it's like they have no idea what to do with it. Okay, we bought our competition. Great. What do we do?
turn us the heel.
I forgot.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, when
Hit
when you
me.
look back
I
at-
own everything.
So yeah, when you look back, as James said, yeah, after the heel turn, yeah, the business gradually declined to the point where we are now, and you can look to this
20-year
heel turn.
decline.
20-year decline. You can look to this moment as the start of that, because
it's the peak.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like when you look back at it in terms of business, arguably the biggest mistake the company ever made was turning Austin heel in terms of business and on the product, because when you look at the crowd, nobody wanted to boo Austin. He's one of those guys, along with Undertaker and Sting, that you just don't want to boo. They're too likable to boo. And honestly,
Turn him heel in Texas?
exactly. And
Really?
Even
Mhm.
Jim Ross in the amazing Stone Cold documentary DVD, he even said himself, like you guys were saying, that he didn't think it'd be a good idea. And I like the analogy. It's like as if John Wayne became a Nazi general. Who's going to buy into that? Nobody.
Mhm.
No.
Exactly.
So there you go.
I think it comes a lot from the fact of Steve was just in the bubble. He's in the wrestling bubble, and when you're in the bubble, you have no idea what's going on around you. You're so obsessed with what is happening with you and your run in this company, and you are the golden goose of the company, and everything you do, everybody loves. And the boys all know that you're the one that is selling the tickets for us, so we got to ride this train as much as it can. And then you start to think like, oh my God, I've been doing the same freaking thing over and over again. I got to do something different. Oh, that's where you're like, hope somebody would have stepped in. It's like, don't do that.
I bet you Taker probably would have had something to say
Just
about
thinking
it.
like,
Given the chance.
sure you want to do that? Sure you want to do that, kid? Why not? I think it'd be fun. All right.
Old saying of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Stone Cold thought, well, if Hogan did it, maybe I could do it too.
Yeah, but it's like, and you know what's funny? You know what's
See, the
funny?
thing was, the fans were sick of Hogan.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. I was
It's
literally
loved
just about to
Austin,
say
though.
that. I was just about to
they were
say
trying.
that.
Yeah. But I suppose
Thing
Stone
is-
Cold, he wanted to do it before he got stale, at least in his mind.
Yeah. I mean, I can
Loved
understand.
Austin after this.
It was an experiment. It really did no harm to the company. I mean, I really don't think it really, knocked anybody dead.
Not
gotta
immediately.
Not
We'll
immediately.
say-
Well,
though-
WCW was gone too.
We
Right.
got a
WCW.
disappointing invasion angle out of it. That's the truth.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
But then again,
Never
Austin's heel
recovered
turn
as a
really
babyface.
wasn't one of the factors behind that. There was a lot more behind that, like the fact that they couldn't bring in guys like Nash and Hall and all them because of the and Goldberg because of the size of their contracts. So they couldn't match that.
Matter of fact, as I was watching this match again, it reverted back to when I watched it for the first time. The way stuff kind of lays out, it almost feels like before the handshake that Vince is actually trying to turn babyface. Look at it from that perspective, because he just lost to his son. He lost WCW. Maybe he's having a change of heart and he wants to become a new person. So he starts helping Austin, who's the babyface in this match, and The Rock is the heel. So it's almost like you could look at it from that perspective until the handshake happens, and it's like, and Steve starts wailing The Rock with the chair. When he goes into that tirade with the chair, that's really where it seems like, okay, it's not Vince doing babyface. Austin's turning heel. So it's that moment that really switches stuff. Up until that point, you could perceive that Vince was trying to turn face.
True. But in the end,
The thing about after this in terms of a babyface, because when they turned him babyface, he was never the same in terms of popularity.
True. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But in the end, Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated The Rock to become the new WWF champion in 28 minutes, 8 seconds. So overall, WrestleMania 17, as I said earlier, you could argue the best WrestleMania of all time from a card standpoint, top to bottom. Really nothing bad on this show. Even the 6-man tag, it was just okay. But everything else about this show was good to absolutely fantastic. So, highly recommend anybody who hasn't watched this show in a while to go watch it. But now on to favorite, least favorite, and sleeper match of the night. Favorite match for me, Austin and The Rock. Least favorite, the 6-man tag. Now, the sleeper, this is a tough one because there were quite a few matches. More matches on this card than last week with 14 that you could make a case for being the sleeper. But for this one, I'm actually going to give it to the hardcore title match because I feel like when it comes to hardcore title matches, you say, we say it's maybe the best hardcore title match of all time, but there are a couple other hardcore title matches I could put up against this being just as good. And yeah, I'm going to give it to the hardcore title match. Walter?
Favorite match, I'm probably going to end up going with Taker and Triple H. Least favorite, the 6. I'm going to go with the 6-man only because, got to pick one. There's got to be one that's got to go there. Sleeper, I'm going with Shane and Vince. 2 non-wrestlers having a very entertaining match.
Kronicz?
Yeah, the worst match, I think we're all going to agree, the 6-man. Unexpected for me. Actually, it's quite a lot of them. Like the hardcore, that was unexpectedly good. The Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon, unexpectedly good. The gimmick battle royal, unexpectedly entertaining. But man, and picking a top one is difficult too. But I gotta go with the TLC. I just love the match. I just love it. It's great.
Ricky?
Least favorite match, the 6-man tag. The sleeper match, Angle Benoit. Favorite match, it's like you turn into a brick wall. Fuck. Oh man, I love Taker versus Triple H. I love Austin Rock. I love the TLC match. I even love the Shea Vince match. But if I have to go with one, I'm gonna go with Taker and Hunter.
Scott?
Favorites, Taker and Hunter, obviously, because I'm wearing the T-shirt. Least favorite is the women's title match, and sleeper is Benoit Kurt Angle.
James?
Favorite is Austin Rock. My least favorite is the 6-man tag. My sleeper's Undertaker Triple H, because a lot of people forget about that match. Even WWE forgets about that match. When they were building up WrestleMania 27, they just ignored that like it never happened.
Yeah.
That's standard WWE booking. I mean, they got, Randy Orton terrorizing Triple H and Stephanie and the McMahon family, yet then they end up reforming Evolution a year or two down the road.
But now, Scott, push job endeavor. Oh God, I'm looking forward to this one.
Fucking hell.
It's very simple. TLC too.
Oh, push job endeavor.
God.
Dudley's, Hardy's, Edge and Christian.
Oh God.
Oh God.
I'll do mine quick. I'm pushing Dudley's, jobbing Edge and Christian, and endeavoring the Hardys.
Endeavoring Hardys, push Edge and Christian, job the Dudleys.
Okay.
This is the hardest one yet. Oh my God. I guess push. Honestly, I'm gonna say push the Hardys, job Edge and Christian, and endeavor the Dudleys. I don't want to, and the only reason I say job Edge and Christian is because a few months down the road you're gonna split them up anyways, and they'll go on to their own singles careers. I don't want to endeavor either of them, but I have to, and yeah.
Walter, what do you think?
Push the job Edge and Christian and send the Hardys to Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
I like your style. James, what do you think?
Push the Dudleys, job Edge and Christian, endeavor the Hardys.
Yeah, there you go. Kronicz, what do you say, bud?
Hey, I'll agree with James over there.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. Everybody in the chat, too, let us know what you think of those guys. I mean, I had to pick a tough one for this show, and I think that's a pretty tough one. So
Russell
you could
said,
go through it in different ways.
Yeah, Russell, I think he had a typo, but I think he's saying push Dudley's, job Hardy's, endeavor Edge and Christian. Zach said push Edge and Christian, job Hardy's, endeavor Dudley's until Devon becomes a backstage agent. Push Edge and Christian, job the Hardys to Brock Lesnar.
There you go.
Oh God, but wow, wow.
Yeah.
That was the hardest one of them all. I didn't want to endeavor to Dudley's, but yeah.
And that's why it's there, man. It's just for discussion purposes, for speculation purposes, just for fun.
Entertainment purposes only.
I'm
Fantasy
calling it
cooking,
3D.
people.
I'm going to come out of retirement and start shoving cameras into assholes. I don't give a fuck. This is ridiculous.
Where the fuck did that come from? Clip that.
Clip that.
Oh my God.
Who the take shit off? No one gives a shit who you are.
Either
I was watching Stranglemania last night, so.
Oh, really?
Wait, what?
Mike Rodriguez never saw it. Mike Rodriguez never seen it, so I watched it with him.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good memories. Sweet.
We don't.
headbutt Lava Lava Doobie, you dumb fucking idiot.
Sweet Dow's Lava Dabba Doobie. Jack this sack. 80 style hip
Fighting in the name of his father, prickly balls.
You know, Walter, I need to send you a clip of one of the guys from New Legacy Inc. trying to do a combination of Gilbert Gottfried and Paul Heyman.
Oh God!
I gotta hear that.
It's so stupid. Anyways, I'm going back through the chat to see if there was any questions with this. Oh, Arthur asked, from hottest to dull, where would you rank the ladies of WrestleMania? Chyna, Ivory, Lita, Trish, Jacqueline, and Stephanie.
Jesus.
From hottest to dullest.
Fuck.
Fuck, that's tough.
I don't,
Well, the least hottest on the show would be Ivory, just because of
yeah, yeah. So
itself, it's just the clothes, the style.
what was this before? Was Stephanie already had her boobs already?
No, not yet.
Not yet. That would be a few months later.
She was hot before that.
Yeah,
she didn't need it.
Yeah, she didn't
that
need
was
it.
No,
just for her own
I know she
self-esteem.
didn't, but those help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot.
They helped her
Well,
ratings a
remember,
lot.
Jericho said himself, you stay, Stephanie, you're the breast. I mean best.
Mhm.
We got the
Oh, he put
man
those
beast
over-
and the
He
hose
put
beast.
He put
We're
those over
dealing
huge when
with-
she got them.
We're dealing with the gore and the
And
whore.
the whore. And that
Boobies hit the floor.
dirty.
Let the
little-
boobies hit the floor.
Hit the floor.
At SummerSlam, I'm gonna take care of that disgusting, nasty, greasy animal, and I'm gonna get
Bottom.
you too, Rhino.
Classic.
For me, dullest, yeah, Ivory. Going from dullest to hottest, I'm gonna say Ivory, Jacqueline,
Jacqueline, yeah.
Trish, maybe.
Trish,
Just for the outfit.
Chyna,
Mhm.
Chyna,
Stephanie,
Lita,
then Lita.
Stephanie, then Lita. Yeah,
Yep, Lita, stop here.
yeah.
So there we go.
I bet your ass a lot of people just bought WrestleMania just for that Lita moment.
Maybe.
Maybe a bunch of young kids who wanted to become men that night.
That's right. Yeah.
But there is no moment in
It was
WWF. There's no moment in WWF history that will make boys go to men more than Sable's handprints at Fully Loaded 98.
Oh yeah.
Guys, you want to play baseball?
Hang on, I'm gonna go masturbate.
I'll be right back. I have to do something, and I don't know what it's gonna take. Remember, it was Edge who encouraged Lita to do that. She was showing it off to him, and she was like, "Well, I wouldn't wear it like this." No, you should wear it like that. So thanks, Adam. Appreciate it, bud.
Foreshadowing. 4 years later.
Foreshadowing. That's right. Foreshadowing.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh god. Anyways, I'm trying to
Adam, you bastard.
Uh-huh.
The WWE can kiss my ass.
The Ring of Honor show.
Go back to Ring of Honor, asshole.
Yep.
Oh, and I forgot to mention something during Rock Austin. At the moment after when Vince pulled Rock's leg to break up the pin, you could literally see Rock going, "You motherfucker."
Uh-huh. Yeah. You see all of them out. Motherfucker. You would see after Vince hits Rock with the chair, false finish, and then Austin looks at McMahon like, "I'll do the motherfucking job myself."
Austin, when he makes all of his entrance, he's like, fuck, let's fucking go, motherfuck, fuck.
Goddamn, kid, this is gonna be fun. Hey, have a nice goddamn day. Hey, goddamn kid, how are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Use the Lord's name in vain
all the time. Oh, Rick Rude. I love how Paul even.
Goddamn right. You're goddamn welcome.
Hey, I got a question. I got blah 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 question. Oh goddamn, Rick, that's a good question. Steve, must you take the Lord's name in vain all the time?
Oh, I'm so sorry
I'm
about
so
that,
sorry.
Rick.
Goddamn. Oh, I'm so sorry. Goddamn, Rick. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Goddamn it. No.
Thank
Steve,
you very much.
You have to stop this right now, or we'll have to step outside and fight. Oh, I didn't mean... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I was wrong, I'm sorry. Now drive the goddamn car and let's get going.
Goddamn well.
I love how they animate Rick Rude's face going fucking red with the steam coming out of his ears. Totally perfect. Goddamn, Rick. I can't wait for the next season of Story Time. What kind of funny stories we're going to get next season?
Oh, speaking of story time, Jericho, Austin.
Yeah, that.
It's happening.
Did not expect that.
I was like, "There's no way." It's April Fool's. And I'm like, "Nah." And then I see, I'm like,
No,
April
it's
2nd.
happening.
"Oh,
They should have announced it on the 1st.
They should have announced it yesterday. That would have been fucking.
People would have just been confused, like,
They
wait.
probably knew. Yeah, if they did announce it on the first, everyone would think it was a joke.
Mhm.
But nope, they did it on the
Further
second.
proof
Yeah.
that
April Fools.
Vince sold off the network so he could buy AEW.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Did anybody see? Oh my God! Who? I don't know if anybody here shared it, but I saw a tweet that some AEW fan actually tweeted out, "Fuck Jericho. He wants to go back to that no good piece of shit Vince. He's a traitor. He doesn't fucking belong here." And then maybe Zach saw that, retweeted it. Maybe that's where I saw it from. But yeah, some jackass actually went out there. Did you do that too, James? Okay, maybe it was you I saw it from.
I saw it, and he spelled traitor T-R-A-D-E-R.
Traitor like you're trading stuff.
You know
Not a turncoat.
As it was funny, none of us acted like this during the Monday Night Wars in the Attitude Era.
No.
Watched all of it.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, fuck him for going WCW. Fuck him for going WWE. No, it was like, oh, cool. You know, this is equivalent to say like Hall and Nash doing an interview with Jim Ross after they jumped ship.
mhm.
That's what this is equivalent to.
You know what would have been perfect? Kelly in the Hall of Fame announced on April Fool's. I'm like,
That would have been good.
That would
That
have
would've
been
been
good. That would have been good.
Oh, April Fool.
People would have been mad.
April Fool's.
People would have been mad when they actually saw him come out for the Hall of Fame. They're like, wait, they're serious.
He's really here?
And I was like, I swear, when I saw Kelly, I was like, what?
Dude, he
I couldn't-
sings happy birthday to John Cena. They can induct him every year.
Yeah.
Look, like they're pre-taping the Hall of Fame, so we have that. We don't have to sit through a live Kali promo.
And my
true.
daughter
Yeah.
is going to be on the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, she's on the
My
screen.
kid's a Thunderdome freak. She's been on like every Thunderdome for like the past 2 months.
Awesome.
And what they did was before they started Raw, they instructed everybody on Thunderdome to do like clapping and applauding. And she's like, "What are we doing?" And the administrator is like, "It's gonna be for Hall of Fame." And she's like, "Oh, you mean I
Okay.
can't do she's like, "I can't do Thunderdome for Hall of Fame itself."
Nope.
I'm like,
It's
"Really?
pre-recorded.
You're gonna get thrown off."
Yeah, shut up. Yeah.
Like, wow, people are really
She's actually
excited.
set for WrestleMania SmackDown. She'll be on that.
Sweet.
She's become the Vladimir of Thunderdome.
So they will have the fan screen at WrestleMania as well.
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
But
I
not
know
at
they're gonna have
WrestleMania,
it
at
for
the Hall of Fame.
though.
Yeah, Hall
Yeah.
of Fame, yeah.
Follow him. WrestleMania there's gonna be some crowds, which thank God there's gonna be at least
Yeah.
some crowds.
Give me an
Mhm.
excuse to actually watch something modern now.
What I heard is they might put the Thunderdome like above the entrance or something like that. Someplace it's off camera.
So people can still see it. Scarsdale's going to be there. Scotty's going to be there.
Scarsdale makes his
Keep
return.
going. You still have to wear a mask, and you have to be asked the questions and everything before you go in.
Did
But
he
yeah.
get vaccinated? Did he get vaccinated? I don't think he did.
He got the first one. I don't know if he's got the
Oh, he
second
did.
one.
Okay.
Well, I don't know
Yeah,
if he
I
got
got
the
my
Johnson and
first-
Johnson
I got
one.
my
He did
first one
Johnson and
yesterday.
Johnson at one shot.
Oh, he got Johnson and Johnson.
If he gets a Johnson and Johnson, that's a one shot deal. I don't know if he did or not.
Oh, okay.
It's it's a 75%.
Yeah, 75% effective. Yeah.
Yeah,
The other
I got
one-
mine.
Yeah.
I got my first one yesterday. I got Pfizer. I thought arm was sore today though. I was tired and I took like 2 naps,
Mhm.
so I'm fine.
Same me, Scott. I got it like a week ago, but we're making progress. We're making progress.
Yeah, we don't hit the 40s in this state until Monday, so that's when we can sign up.
Oh, you're yeah. I was wondering what you had.
Yeah, the age limit dropped to 40
it,
plus on Monday. So
okay, as soon as New York said that public facing employees can do it, that's when I registered. But I could have done it anyways because now 30 and over can do it. Next week, 16 and over can do it.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna start soon.
Shit, that was. Oh yeah, so Russell just asked thoughts on WrestleMania this year, and he says he's mad about the triple threat.
Yeah, I'm not really happy about it.
Yeah, I'm not really happy about it.
It'll be a good match, but it's not what I wanted to say. So, but,
I mean, if Jinder Bryan wasn't gonna be at the triple threat, where would you put him?
Yeah, if Bryan wasn't in the match, who could you put him up against?
I got to point out the irony of the situation here. Back in WrestleMania 30, people were furious that Daniel Bryan was not going to be in the main event of WrestleMania because
that is true.
Now everyone's
that is true.
In it, and they're annoyed.
That is true.
Yep.
It's all about timing.
It is.
I know, and we're
because the Edge comeback story is what is the big story, not Daniel Bryan's right now. His already happened.
Yeah, and people aren't clamoring for Bryan to get anything else anymore at this point because he's done everything.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they just don't.
The only thing I could see them doing is they could have done this because the dumb son of a bitch already set the precedent. Daniel Bryan, Shawn Michaels. Have the guy that started his career.
I think Roman's going over, and Edge is going to snap and blame Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Edge is going to snap and blame Daniel Bryan for not winning taking WrestleMania moment. So we're going to have psychotic, angry heel Edge again. And that'll build up for a match for them down the road at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam Edge versus
Bryan. Probably.
Yeah. And Roman will move on to wrestle somebody else. Who knows?
But who? That's the question. Who will you go up against Roman?
Maybe build up Cesaro or Shinsuke.
Cesaro
or Big E.
Move him to Raw.
I think Big E is.
I think Shinsuke's a lock to win the Battle Royal because there's Shinsuke, or they're going to use the Battle Royal to elevate a member of the group.
Mm-hmm.
T-Bar, Mace, Slapjack.
Mm-hmm.
Retribution.
Retribution. Thank you. Yeah, because they finally have broken. They finally separated from Mustafa Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And maybe they'll use this to because either Mace or T-Bar. I mean, Donovan Dijakovic and
I'd give it to Dijakovic if that.
He's awesome. I'd love to. He needs or.
Whereas Mace
back in time and give him a win.
Whereas Mace or Dio Madden, I feel he still has some work to do.
Yeah, he's still a little green. He's a little wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
That's
the reason why I said I'd
the
give
participants
it to
for the Battle Royal. Shinsuke's the only guy who would make sense to win it. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's
SmackDown is now the WrestleMania pre-show.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and of course my thoughts on the Edge Roman Bryan thing. It's like I love Daniel Bryan, but I feel the only reason they decide to put him in the match is for either Roman or Edge to get the pin on somebody, so they don't have to pin each other. I feel like,
yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap things up. This was a hell of an episode. We went over 2 hours. This is the second longest episode we've done. Yeah. But before we go, it's plug time. We got to plug our stuff. I'm going to start off with Kronicz up there. And you've got quite a few things.
Yeah, a few things. You can follow me on Twitter at MXWKronicz. My YouTube page is youtube.com/mostxtremewrestling. I have a Twitch, twitch.tv/donut_space. And the YWF as well on YouTube. It's youtube.com/YouTube Wrestling Federation, which Levi right there happens to be the World Heavyweight Champion over there on our show, Explosion.
Yep.
So congrats to him.
I finally got the big one, motherfuckers.
It took years.
It took years,
but it happened.
But it finally happened.
Yeah, cute belt, kid.
I know. I need to get a replica. Maybe after
Man just flexed on you.
maybe in a month I'll finally buy one. I've always wanted.
Tully Blanchard
Well,
right
it's
there.
tough.
Tully Blanchard.
This fucking belt, dude, I cannot get over how heavy it is. This feels
That's
like
a
a real
beautiful
deal.
belt.
This does not feel like a replica.
I held
I'm
one
like,
of the replica belts at Mania 30 at Access. They
amazing.
are heavy. They are heavy.
These are heavy. I mean, the two I got on the wall over there, they're nothing like this. Jesus.
Ricky.
Tina Koloff held that heavy fucker over his head along with the UWF TV
UWF title, that's right.
He held them both up in the air. It's strength.
Bray Wyatt's dad held it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yes, he did.
Well, you can find me on Instagram. I'm Arcaraman Metal Guy, where I just post some of my collections, a couple of memes, and you can find me on Levi's channel, Thrashman Like 9, on the Horseman Podcast, where we coach you with your daily stuff of metal, wrestling, whatever you want.
James.
Find me on YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I'm going to be ending my WrestleMania season next week when I talk about WrestleMania 15. After that, I'm going to be talking about some TNA stuff with Against All Odds 2006, Lockdown 2007, and the Jeff Jarrett Reign of Terror. And then go from there after that. And you can follow me on Twitter at WAPW_wrestling.
Walter.
You can find me on Twitter at YourWaltBall. You can find me on Instagram at smokin_Walt_ball, where I show pictures of my food and memes and stuff. And you can also find me and Scott on the Necrocasticon, where we are joined by our good friends, writers Thomas R. Clark and Skip Novak, along with our fellow wrestling friend, Sergeant Fury Dan Roberts, when we talk about the finest in horror and metal.
Scott.
Find me on YouTube at Mr. Scott Reacts. You find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Scott Reacts. And you find me on Twitch at Mr. Scott Rocks.
And finally, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, ThrashManiac99. Basically, right now, it's just nothing but the 5-question show for the time being until I get things ready for my next Marvel Studios Cup Series season, which I'm going to do a complete overhaul of everything. So be on the lookout for that in the summer. You can follow me on Twitter, ThrashManiac99. You can also now follow me on Instagram, ThrashManiac_YT. I haven't posted anything on there yet because I'm saving my first post for when I get my vest made with the patches on them, and then there will be your first post. And then finally...
And Levi, you're going to put on your thirst trap photos all over Instagram. Saving them up.
Hey, gotta
Hey, baby.
Gotta get something for the ladies.
That's right.
There you go.
And then finally, you can follow or subscribe to my Twitch channel, ThrashManiac99. And also, announcement, I yesterday decided to finally buy an electronic drum kit so I can play drums again. So I'll be doing drum streams, maybe drum covers in the future, and that's going to be insane. I can't wait to start playing again. And I actually a couple hours ago, bought a double bass pedal so I can play double bass. So that's going to be fantastic. But that's in the future.
Start sending your request right now.
I'm gonna make a song list because I'm not going to play what most people want me to play because
Mortician hacked up for barbecue.
Because either they're gonna request stupid pop crap or stuff I cannot play yet. So I'm gonna have to make a list. For when that happens.
Rush Tom Sawyer.
That I'd like to give a try, actually.
Did you see that picture of me and Addie this morning? Right,
No.
with him in the background posing like this.
Nope. No, I didn't see it.
All right. Well, there's a picture. I posted a picture. You'll see it. And my brother texts me going, "Why?" He goes, "Atticus looks just like Steve Grimmett."
Wow.
From Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
And now that he mentions it, now that he says that.
Well, now with that said, we're going to sign off for this week. Next week, it's a special Sunday afternoon episode. We're going to be here at 3 p.m. Eastern Time next Sunday for our review of Night 1 of WrestleMania 37 and predictions for Night 2. After that, we get back to normal schedule somewhat. We go, for the final 2 weeks of the month, we're going to be talking about ECW Barely Legal 97 and TNA Lockdown 2006, all leading up to May 1st. 1-year anniversary watch along party of Heroes of fucking Wrestling.
Oh,
Hey!
Did I see if Todd's available?
No, please don't.
But with all
He's not
that
gonna like us
said,
shitting. He's not gonna like us shitting on the show. He said he had nothing but a positive experience there.
And good for him.
Yes.
This ain't
But-
about Todd.
He just knows
Yeah.
it was terrible, but it was a good experience.
Yeah, good for him.
Beer,
But
there's
anyways-
snacks ready,
We're
people.
gonna enjoy it.
yeah, get your beer and popcorn ready for that one. I know I'm
Mhm.
gonna have a bunch of snacks to get through that. But
I know.
anyways,
Kids, the midgets are wrestling.
But
That's
anyways,
right. The kids are wrestling.
but anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next Sunday. Until then, take care, horns high, and booyah shaka, baby.
My dude, my dog.
Markers.
Well, there.